State shall secure that operation of legal system promotes justice. Justice in India is not automatically accessible. It is the responsibility of the government to ensure that it has to be made accessible. And this is where the Legal Services Authority Act of 1987 comes into picture. We introduced Article 39A to the Constitution, which talks about the idea of what? Equality of justice and free legal aid. In India, we have what? Justice delayed is justice denied. Hello, everyone. 9th of November. Every year, we celebrate this day as the National Legal Services Day. This year, it was something special. We had the 30 years completion of NALSA, which got into its position in the year 1995 under the Legal Services Authority Act of 1987, which gave or which operationalized NALSA as a body in the year 1995. So again, in this video, we are going to cover what exactly is the idea of free legal aid or the idea of legal aid. How has India went or how has the government went with an idea of providing free legal aid? And again, going forward, what exactly NALSA has done in the last 30 years with an idea to achieve free legal aid or give free legal aid. And going forward, what are we seeing with an idea of ease of justice? So all of these things we are going to discuss in this particular video. But let me start with a very powerful word of Mahatma Gandhi ji in his talisman. So basically, he tell that at some time in there would be some kind of situations where again you're going to take certain decision, and that decision taking process is going to maybe you will be in a state of dilemma that again what do I need to do, what is right, what is wrong, and you are confused. Then Gandhiji gives you a solution through his talisman. He basically tells that again, whenever you are in a state of confusion, you need to do just a simple test. You need to imagine the poorest and the most weakest person who you have seen as of now, and ask yourself this question: will my decision is going to create any kind of impact on that particular person who I imagined or who I have seen? If the decision which you're going to take is giving you an answer yes, then that is the right decision. And trust me, NALSA is one of the bodies who have given this whole philosophy of Gandhiji in its true essence. That is something NALSA is doing. Our Ambedkar ji, again, B.R. Ambedkar ji also talked about that idea that again in 1950 we gave to ourselves the Constitution of India. So with this, we gave ourselves the whole idea of political rights, right? But again, he also talked about an idea of that we are going to enter into a life of contradictions. So what is the contradiction he's talking about? He talks about that again, the Constitution is giving us the political rights. We have a right to vote, we have democracy, but is it ensuring social and economic justice as well? And that is something he is trying to tell, that in politics we will have equality with the Constitution, but and in social and economic life we will have inequality. And he also tells that going forward we are going to make sure that again we are taking this economic and social inequality out of the society, then only this political equality can be cherished in its full form. And all of these ideas of Mahatma Gandhi ji, which I discussed, the talisman, Mr. Ambedkar ji's philosophy, this is what that is what has done in the form of operationalization of this National Legal Services Authority. That is the idea of NALSA. So, and if you imagine, of course, you know this, the ideas of DPSPs, that is Directive Principles of State Policy. In the year 1976, through the 42nd Constitutional Amendment Act, we added one DPSP to the Constitution, again going by the vision of Mahatma Gandhi ji and Mr. Ambedkar ji, which I discussed. They talked about an idea of equal justice and free legal aid. So again, This is where they talked about that whenever we talk about the ideas of justice, so justice does not mean justice in its will, of course, is going to make its true sense whenever we talk about equality in justice or the ideas of equality of opportunity in justice, right? And the idea of free legal aid. So this is something, as a directive it was added. What is the idea of DPSPs? That again, these are the directives which are being given to the government or to the state. That state, whenever you are making any kind of policies, please take or please look at these directives as a guidelines for you. And this is something which have been the guideline for the government for the operationalization of this Legal Services Authority Act of 1987. So the idea, of course, here the state shall secure that operation of legal system promotes justice on the basis of what? Equal opportunity, that everyone should be getting opportunity of equality with respect to idea of justice, and shall in particularly provide what? Free legal aid by suitable legislation or schemes or in any other way to ensure opportunities for securing justice are not denied to any citizen by the reason of what? That economic and other disabilities of what kind? I'll tell you. These are not the grounds for not providing anyone equality of justice and free legal aid. Again, that is where we talk about legislation has been done. We have Legal Services Authority Act of 1987, which operationalized this DPSP, which gave the idea of this DPSP into a piece of legislation. We have different schemes which talks about the idea of free legal aid. We are going to discuss. Other than this, in the Constitution, we have a chapter of fundamental rights. In fundamental rights, again, we have a concept of equality before law plus equal protection of law. It means equals should be treated equally, unequals should not be treated equally. That's an idea. Then again, we have Article 21, that again, protection of life and personal liberty. And there are many situations, I'll explain you how exactly a person's life and personal liberty is curtailed whenever free legal aid or equality to justice is not being provided to them. We have Article 22, which is protecting the citizens against arrest and detention in certain cases. There also, if someone is detained, but if someone does not have the powers or does not have a capability to access justice, then what is the use of this article? So this is all which is giving the constitutional mandate as far as free legal aid or equality of justice in the constitution is concerned. You're clear on this? Then we talk about the ideas of why do we need free legal aid first of all. Again, as I discussed, constitution gives you an idea of what? Equality. Equality of opportunity, equality of, let's say, different political aspects. But beyond this, there are certain other kind of struggles which the largest democracy like India is facing. Example, we have poverty, we have illiteracy, we have disaster displacement, we have domestic violence, we have disabilities, we have lack of awareness. If people have these kind of struggle in their life, how can you expect them to go for justice if people are not aware, if they're illiterate, they do not know about the ideas of justice, the idea of the mechanisms which the government is providing? How can they access equality of justice? If people is poor, they do not have money to pay for the lawyer fees, how can you expect them to get justice? And there are different other scenarios which are discussed. So basically, justice in India is not automatically accessible. It is the responsibility of the government to ensure that it has to be made accessible. And this is where the Legal Services Authority Act of 1987 comes into picture. Right. So basically, they're talking about the ideas of that this act has created rights-based and institutional framework. Institution what? We have a right, that is Legal Service Authority Act of 1987, and we have created an institution with the name of NALSAs and its other bodies, which we're going to discuss. So that's an idea. So whenever we talk about the ideas of free legal aid in India, so this is the history of free legal aid. Again, just a timeline to understand. In the very first, in 1960, the government introduced guidelines for an idea of what? Legal aid schemes. So this is an idea for the very first time, government introduced the idea of providing legal aid schemes. So this is something where again the very first time we talked about an idea of what legal aid. Aid means to help someone legally. Then again I discussed 1976 through the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976. We introduced Article 39A to the Constitution, which talks about the idea of what? Equality of justice and free legal aid. Then in the year 1980, all of you know the Justice Bhagwati. She has been maybe called as a champion of public interest litigations in India. So she constituted a committee, that is a committee on for implementing the legal aid schemes. That what kind of government, if government is providing legal aid mechanisms, so a committee was formed by Justice Bhagwati, which uh, through the idea of what operationalizing the committee of implementing these legal aid schemes of the government. Then in the year 1987, we know that again the parliament enacted the Legal Service Authority Act, which is again giving a legal framework that how we are going to provide an idea of legal justice. Then 1985, this year it was the law was being made, but due to some financial constraints, the body or the institution under the Legal Service Authority Act came into effect in the year 1995. That is why in 2025 we are celebrating 30 years of the constitution of NALSA, right? And then through many other mechanisms, NALSA has gone with an idea of free legal aid. For example, 1998 we introduced lok adalats, permanent lok adalats, continuous lok adalats, which are basically alternative dispute redressal mechanisms. We have 2000. We again this body has made sure that again it has run different legal literacy programs where again people can be legally made aware about the legal services or the free legal aid which the government is providing. This is basically the history of free legal aid in India. Then if I talk about what exactly is the institutional structure of NALSA. So before that, there are different Supreme Court judgments which have again given the idea of free legal aid or the ideas of justice with respect to legal aid in India. There are few prominent landmark cases. MH Hoskete versus State of Maharashtra. I'll discuss one by one each of them. So let's start with MH Hoskot versus State of Maharashtra case of 1978. In this, there was a prisoner in jail, and this prisoner wanted to file an appeal for the matter in the court, but he do not had any lawyer, and he could not understand the complex legal procedures. So that was the condition. Supreme Court in this judgment talked about that if a prisoner cannot afford a lawyer to access justice, then the state, that is the government, must provide him a free of cost lawyer. And this is a part of Article 21, that is right to life and personal liberty. If person is in jail, his personal liberty is curtailed. So again, a violation of his fundamental right. If we have no access to a lawyer who is going to represent him in the courtroom, that is an idea. And in this very famous case, the Supreme Court also told that again, without legal help, the prisoner cannot defend himself and the trial becomes unfair. And this is something in this very famous case, the Supreme Court officially recognized that free legal aid is a fundamental right for prisoners. Then we have Husinaira Khatun versus State of Bihar case. All of you know the idea of under trials. Prisons in India are overcrowded. We need prison reforms. So in this very famous case, in Bihar, there were many of the inmates in jail who were serving sentences beyond what they would have actually got if they had been convicted by the court. For example, let's say if you have been in jail, if you have committed some crime for which punishment was, let's say, 2 years, but as your case is not heard in the court as of now, so the idea is you are in jail for 5 years for a crime for which the punishment was only 2 years. So this is something called as under trials. So this was a condition of the jails in Bihar where there were many of the under trials. So again, Supreme Court in this very famous case talked about that again, every prisoner has a fundamental right to what? Not just free legal aid, but a speedy trial. That is again a implicit right under Article 21 of the Constitution. Again, they gave an idea of what justice delayed is what justice denied, and the poor cannot be punished simply because they have no money to access lawyers. So again, this case has triggered the release of 40,000 plus under trial prisoners, and again, it again sparked the debate around the ideas of legal aid movement in India. Then we have this Khatri and others versus State of Bihar case of 1981, a very infamous case of Bhagalpur blindings, where again police blinded prisoners, right? So the ideas of what we talk about custodial violence. So in this case, Supreme Court talked about the idea of that whenever, again, remember Article 22 of the Constitution, right? And there are rights against arrest and detention. So in this, legal aid must be provided at the very first production before the magistrate. Let's say within 24 hours, the arrested person has to be presented in front of the magistrate. So in that case also, before that, the person or the maybe the prisoner or the person who have been maybe in jail has to be given a legal aid. And the poor illiterate prisoners who do not know about this whole idea of that again they can access free legal aid cannot protect their rights without legal assistance. So again, court told that state cannot say we do not have funds to deny free legal aid. It is the responsibility of the state that to protect prisoners' rights is, and it is a non-negotiable matter. And basically, this case strengthened the state's accountability in terms of providing free legal aid. We have Sukhdas versus Union Territory of Arunachal Pradesh case of 1986. In this, there were many people who were convicted. Again, what is conviction? Let's say if you are in jail, right? Or maybe you have committed some kind of punishment or basis of the first evidences, you are arrested. But you consider that again you are not guilty. So again, in India, we have this whole idea that again, you are innocent until you are proven guilty by the court of law. That is an idea of conviction. When again the court gives you the or gives a judgment that again you are convicted. But in this case, let's say you are in jail, right? And maybe you do not have access to lawyers, you do not know about the processes, but again you went to the court without any representation and court convicted you for a offense. Is it right? No. This was the case that again people were convicted without being told why that they had a right to free legal aid. And this is where Supreme Court or the court told that free legal aid is not optional. It is the courts must inform the accused about this right, and a trial without legal aid is invalid, especially for poor and illiterate. So again, this is an idea which again court reiterated the fact that again no one can be denied justice just because they are poor. So that's how Supreme Court time and again have given an idea of free legal aid in India, the idea of speedy trial, the idea of maybe talking about the conditions of under trial prisoners in the prisons of India. So this is something just talking about by Supreme Courts and courts. This is the structure of the institution of NALSA. Again, we have what we call as integrated judiciary in India, right? So this is something which is talking about the idea of integration. So at the central level, we have NALSA. At state level, we have state legal services authorities. At district level, we have a body, and at taluk level also, we have a body. So again, this is a four-tiered structure body. Again, and that is we call as NALSA. So let's discuss one by one what is their mandate. So number one is this NALSA, that is National Legal Service Authority. So basically, this is a body which is the highest legal aid body of India. It is under the control or headed by the Supreme Court, a judge, and they make policies with respect to legal aid, coordinate different matters. They maybe have funds. They monitor all legal activities in India. So basically, this NALSA is the central command center for legal aid matters of India. So under this NALSA, there are two committees which are being set up. What is committees? Number one is this Supreme Court Legal Service Committee. As simple as that. Let's say you are going for a case which is filed in Supreme Court, but you do not have money to pay fees for a lawyer. This is where this committee comes into picture. They are providing free legal aid for cases in Supreme Court, and it is helping poor litigants who need representation in Supreme Court of India. So again, it is basically going by this idea. Then again, at a similar level, if you are in any of the state high courts and do not have money to afford lawyer for your case in the high court, then again, this is a body, that is High Court Legal Services Committees, which are operationalized in 38 such committees are there in India. So again, it is located in every high court, similar, providing free legal aid for cases which are filed in high court. And again, it is supervising legal services at the state level. So that is the idea of this NALSA, this first institution. Then we have the second tier, that is state legal services authorities. That is the at a state level we have this body. So again, it is operational in 37 states and UTs. So what is their mandate? So basically they are headed by, again, unlike let's say NALSA, which was headed by Supreme Court judge, this SALSA, that is State Legal Service Authority, is headed by the Chief Justice of the High Court of that particular state. So the mandate, of course, here is that, again, to whenever there's an idea of legal awareness at a state level, so all the policies of NALSAs are implemented at state level through this particular body. The two bodies which are below this, that is district and taluk level committees, are under supervision of SALSA. So basically, this is a state headquarters for legal aid. Then we have TALSA, that is District Legal Service Authority. At a district level, in every court you see in district, and this is the very maybe you talk about the very base level, where again we are implementing this whole idea of legal aid. So we have this, every district we have a location on the district court, we have this DALSA. So they are conducting what? They're conducting lok adalats, legal awareness camps, and they're providing lawyers for district level cases. They distribute legal literacy material. So this is where the most of the citizens actually interact with an idea of legal aid in the country. Then we have the fourth level, which is the lowest level, wherein we talk about the ideas of free legal aid, is this Taluk Legal Service Committees. So there are approximately 2,440 talukas, which is presently at sub-district, tehsil and taluka courts. So again, very bringing the legal aid closest to the rural areas, where again people are illiterate, people are not aware about this whole idea of legal aid and different other mechanisms. They conduct village awareness programs, maybe creating awareness among people about the ideas of legal aid, helping citizens file basic applications and petitions. So this is the very idea of where, again, at the grassroots level, we are talking about the ideas of free legal aid. Then, what has been the journey of funding? Let's talk about funding. Maybe I discussed that, again, this is the ideas of NALSA. At state level we have, at district level we have the body, but where does the money comes with respect to their operation? This is where the funding mechanisms, again, is a three-tiered structure. The funds basically come from central government, state government, and through donations. So this is how the money comes up. For NALSA we have National Legal Aid Fund at a central level, where again central funding and donations are being given. At state level we have State Legal Aid Fund, where again funds come from central state government funding and other contributions or donations. And at district level we have District Legal Aid Fund, where again money coming from the state government's funding and other donations. So this is how the money comes for the institutional operational of this body. Then what has and how, let's say, if you want to avail the free legal aid services, what exactly is the process? The process tells that application can be in different ways. That is how you understand it is made very easy for people to access this free legal aid. So if anyone wants to avail free legal aid service in India, so they can, of course, go for a written application, they can go for an online application through a paralegal volunteer, then an online manner, or through applications from this centralized public grievance redressal and monitoring system. All are the different ways in which one can file an application. But this is where the starts. Key in India, we have what? Justice delayed is justice denied. Section 7 or the regulation 7 clause 2 of the act talks about that again decisions regarding the application which have been made to avail free legal aid service have to be maybe seen on an immediate basis, and the maximum time limit here is 7 days from date of receipt of application. If the application is accepted, then again the person need to be informed, the lawyer has to be assigned, both party and the lawyer have to be given letters or appointment letter, and the applicant can track the status of their application form. It is ensuring what? Speed plus transparency in getting free legal aid. Then who are the persons who are eligible to get these free legal aid services? So there are different other maybe criterias, but these are the few persons who automatically becomes eligible to get free legal aid. Who are those? Number one is members of scheduled caste and scheduled tribes, victims of human trafficking, women and children, persons with disabilities and mental illness, industrial workers, persons in custody, specifically including those in protective or juvenile homes, victims of mass disasters, ethnic violence, caste atrocities, and natural calamities. So, all of these are the persons who are automatically becoming eligible to get free legal aid under this particular act. There is other criterias which are telling maybe on the basis of income, because many a time the cost of lawyers and the access of justice becomes very costly for people. And this is where you talk about the idea of, for the income threshold for a normal person is 1 lakh, that any person who is earning below this amount of money automatically becomes eligible to get free legal aid. But for cases which are filed in Supreme Court, where again the litigation cost maybe increases, this is where the limit has been raised to what? 5 lakh, acknowledging the higher cost of apex court. This is how free legal aid is being accessed by different people who are getting eligible to get free legal aid under this particular act. Then we have how has it done and what are the tasks which are being done by NALSA in last 30 years. Number one is legal aid clinics in every village, every jail, every police station, every law college. This legal aid clinic, just like we have health centers clinic where doctors are sitting, in these institutions, in every village, every police station, every law college, every jail, this is a legal aid clinic where again it is helping the needy person in terms of drafting their litigation, representing them, counseling them, telling them, or maybe opting for pre-litigation before going to the court. That is a pre-litigation, where again out of court settlement, and then mediation support. We have paralegal volunteers. So again, there are volunteers who are getting trained under the body to provide services with the help of what? Recording applications, explaining rights to the person who are going to get free legal aid, connecting the victims to the institutions who are providing this free legal aid, assisting the persons who are affected in disasters, who are in prisons and who are in slums. Then we have Lok Adalats. Again, we talk about the ideas of alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, where again out of court something can be settled. So under this act, it has also constituted Lok Adalats are the core with respect to the idea of what? Decongesting the courts. We have seen the idea pendency of cases in courts. Mobile Lok Adalats, as in people cannot go, people who have no access to go to these Lok Adalats. Lok Adalat will come to you. That is an idea of what? Mobile Lok Adalats to reach remote places. And it includes what? National Lok Adalats, state Lok Adalats, which are constituted time and again. And there are certain permanent Lok Adalats as well. So again, the benefit is what? Zero fees, no appeal, and a win-win settlement situation for persons out of court. Then we have this legal aid defense counsel system. So many times you understand there are a lot of maybe prisoners who are under trial, of course, and they are in the jail for some criminal offense. So this legal aid defense counsel system is going to make sure that free legal defense is provided to any person who is in jail for criminal cases, and of course who are eligible under this act, that is Legal Service Authority Act of 1987. So again, this is the functional maybe a legal aid defense counsel system as of now. And this is India's public defender model for under trials. Then we have under trial review committee. We have seen that There's a lot of overcrowding in jails. There are a lot of under trials in jails of India. So again, there are different categories under which this committee is reviewing. That again, prisoners who are there in jail, who are eligible for bail, who are terminally ill. Then again, those who complete the maximum detention, first time offenders. So again, this is a very powerful tool with respect to the idea of reducing overcrowding of prisons in India. We have victim compensation scheme. That again, many times there are certain person who are affected by heinous crimes. So there is some amount of compensation. So this is body is making sure that again the victims are getting compensation for sexual assault victims, trafficking survivors, acid attack victims, child abuse cases, victims of disabilities due to crime. So basically, financial aid for their rehabilitation. Then we talk about the ideas of digitization, Digital India campaign. So again, under this, we have a Disha scheme, which is also supporting the idea of free legal aid in digital manner. We have tele law, which is basically connecting a lot of people in India are very poor and marginalized. So there are some lawyers which are always available online, which can the vulnerable sections or the poor people can get access via video conferencing or via telephonic calls. Then there is Nyaya Bandhu, pro bono legal services, where again many times there are different kind of lawyers who are volunteering to give this free legal aid. So again, connecting the respective lawyer to the needy person through this Naya Bandhu pro bono legal services case. We have legal literacy and legal awareness. Again, awareness generation about the ideas of free legal aid, which is there in India. Then we have what are the challenges when we talk about the ideas of this 30 years of constitution of NALSA as a body. So for the last 30 years, we still see there is a problem with an idea of awareness. People are still unaware about the idea of free legal aid. Despite huge outreach, millions of people still does not know about it. Quality of legal aid. Supreme Court has told that it is not just about legal aid, it is about quality legal aid, which is not getting maybe in effect. So again, Supreme Court has also talked about an idea of maybe to give quality free legal aid in India. Then again, digital divide, we talk about an idea of telelaw consultation. But again, imagine someone who does not have smartphone. So again, this is where the digital divide needs to be reduced. Then we have prisoners overcrowding. Again, this under trial review committee has to work in a more, let's say, efficient manner so that the prisons which are overcrowded and this overcrowding can be reduced. Then lawyer motivation and training. Again, many times we understand the panel of lawyers, they are maybe voluntarily providing services, but again there has to be major training which has to be given with respect to motivating them. And lastly, funding disparities. Again, there are different funding challenges which this body has been facing that has also to be addressed. Then we talk about that again, how from now for the next, let's say we have completed 30 years. For next 30 years, what can be done? Let's discuss some aspects on that. Tech driven justice. We have understand that technology is something which has come to the economy and different other aspects of society. Why not in providing legal aid as well? So again, we talk about the ideas of AI supported legal aid, video counseling, real time case tracking mechanisms. We can go for village level empowerment. We have an ideas, we have Nari Adalats, we have Gram Nyayalas. All of them is going to go for ideas of feminized and localized justice. Strengthening this whole the legal counsel, which are defense counsel provided for criminal offenses prisoners. So this is going to make sure that again they move closer to public defender model. Again, deepening the ideas of legal literacy, specifically targeting the vulnerable sections, SC, ST belts, the northeastern region of India, and the tribal and remote regions of the country. And lastly, quality check mechanisms. That again, the legal aid is at par with what is provided at a global level. Now let's link it that where does its whole idea of NALSA 30 years comes into my syllabus or my examination preparation. That has to be very much clear. So again, you understand whenever there is 10-year, 20-year, 30 years completion of any body, any institution, that makes that topic important for the examination. So how we can link it to the syllabus? Whenever there's a question on the ideas of access to justice, we can use this as a pointer in my answer. where again NALSA has operationalized Article 39A, bridging economic, social, and geographical barriers with respect to access to justice. Whenever there's a question on the ideas of judicial efficiency, we can talk about Lok Adalats, which are alternative dispute resolution mechanisms, the fast track courts, Gram Nyayalayas, all of them which are reducing pendency and enabling alternate dispute resolution. Vulnerable groups. So whenever we talk about the challenges being faced, what are the solutions, government steps, we can discuss. One component is this NALSA, which is targeting schemes for women, SC, ST, prisoners, children, Nari Adalats. Again, going by there is what? Grassroots gender justice. Digital legal empowerment. Again, digitally also legal empowerment is done through this Disha scheme, tele-law, online aid. All of these are the examples which you can link it as far as this UPSC preparation of yours is concerned. Lastly, the whole idea of the discussion was that again NALSA has been doing commendably well with respect to going by the idea of free legal aid in India. But going forward, we have to make sure that legal aid to the poor should not be what? Poor legal aid. Again, going by that of what? Quality legal aid has to be provided, not just legal aid. So we have given legal aid, but now we need to make sure it is getting more better. We're providing quality legal aid. So the philosophy is the next 30 years, we are going to go by this philosophy. NALSA has, of course, proven that justice is not only a courtroom luxury, it is a constitutional guarantee with the constitution of this NALSA as a body. So we need to reaffirm ourselves that again, justice in India will reach not just a privileged but every citizen, especially the last and the weakest one. So again, that's how we complete the understanding of NALSA. It's 30 years of completion. What have it achieved? What all things have to be done? So a very important topic for your syllabus of the examination. Prepare well. 30 years of completion makes that topic important for your examination. So we are going to come up with more such videos. Keep watching. All the very best.